step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
We are live on the Keep Hammering Collective with Truett Jonathan Hanes.
Nope. Close.
Truett Judith Hanes.
No.
Oh.
One more guess. And also, my middle name, it's not based on anything. Those are two family names. What's Connor?
Connor?
Who is Connor?
Have you ever seen Terminator?
Yeah. But
I think that was his last name. John Connor?
The Terminator?
I don't know.
I think it was his old lady.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I'm done.
I don't know why. I don't know why your middle name is Connor. You should check with your
McGregor.
mom and dad. Yeah. Yeah, Conor McGregor, the notorious. Yeah. So anyway, that's you, Truett Connor Hanes. What's up?
What I want to know is what the hell happened today out there
How?
on the run.
What do you mean?
You told me you hadn't ran in months.
Yeah.
And then we're going out on our 10-mile run. Mm-hmm. My heart rate, apparently I'm in shape. I live in Utah, 4,100 feet. I come to Eugene. I expect to crush it. Mm-hmm. And my heart, I should be in really good shape for my heart.
Okay.
We're a few miles in.
Go on.
You're ahead of me. You're going to like this part. You're ahead of me. Mm-hmm. And my heart rate is 173, zone 5.
You said zone 1. I said mine was zone 0.
Lies all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're way out ahead of me. How do you explain that?
I had a tailwind.
No, it's just crazy. I think it's kind of like the big brother factor. Mm-hmm. You're running with your son, that's me, and then so you got to show up.
Oh, you got sunned.
You got to show up and show out.
I don't know, because, yeah, I don't know. I never run with anybody. I know you don't either, but I hardly ever push it that hard other than like running uphill. So I never wear a watch. So I never really think I'm in shape.
You're doing everything that the running influencers tell you not to do.
And you are an influencer, aren't you? So what should I do? What am I doing wrong?
Apparently don't listen to me. I want to be way behind you.
Well, I mean, we did have some good workouts. You've been here for a few days for Thanksgiving, so that was good.
Yeah.
We got a shout out to Taryn Connor Hanes over there for getting us the movie theater today. We had the private engagement of Last of the Mohicans, just our family.
What a film.
Thank you, Taryn.
Michael Mann film.
We have a live studio audience. We got Taryn, we got Alicia Alley Cat, and we got Gideon. Gideon's always here, but
Gideon's always here. My beautiful wife Alicia's here, and my beautiful sister Taryn is here.
I just said that.
All to watch.
Oh.
No, but you didn't say beautiful.
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting, but we've had a good time. Thanksgiving was great. Amazing food. But aside from that, more importantly, we had some good workouts.
Yeah.
All right, so we ran the hill, got a couple summits in. How did that go?
It kind of more the same from what I just said, which I that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think your fastest marathon this year was 2:58.
Yep.
That was the only marathon you ran, actually.
I think so, yeah. I did that ultra, at least one ultra. Did I do another one? I did shotgun.
Oh, and you won that. Mm-hmm. Was it 4:24? Mm-hmm. So what I want to know is, what is your ceiling when you're actually training the way that you should?
I don't know, but I was curious. How about this? What is your goal? Your goal because you quit your full-time job. So now what are you, an athlete, influencer, sponsored, person of interest? What are you doing? What's your goals? And I think I might jump ahead. I think your goal is to be like, you're on the cusp of what? You want to be great, right? You want to do things no man has ever done. Is that correct?
I hadn't thought that far ahead, but that would be cool, and that would be a big waste of time if I didn't do that.
Yeah. So the goal is to what? Greatness.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say whatever I venture out to do is that it would be with the expectation that I would be great in it because I'm able to dedicate all my time now.
Yeah, but just because people have time doesn't mean they're going to be great at something.
Yeah.
So why are you going to be great?
I think it's because no matter what, even when I did have a full-time job, I would do this stuff anyway because I have that deep desire, like you said, to be great, I guess. I don't know where that comes from. But I do know that I like chasing something, working towards it, giving my absolute all for it, and then actually accomplishing it. That feels really good for me. And I really don't know what I would do with my time if I didn't do that.
I see a lot of, I mean, everybody's chiming in on the youth of today or young men of today, like, you know, how, I don't know what weak they are, you know, like this generation doesn't have like what previous generations have. They have it too easy, too much screen time, too much just losing that edge. So where does yours come from? Is it from, you know, I think people talk about how they were raised or what they went through as a kid. Was it like, cause you were smaller when you were young, you didn't grow till pretty late really in high school. So is it like you want to prove people wrong from then? Cause even though you were like the smallest kid on your basketball team, you were always the leading scorer, but you were little.
That's what happens when you shoot the most.
Yeah, but do you think it's left over from like, I'm going to show these fuckers, I'm going to prove everybody wrong? Or what is it?
Yeah, I would say I usually go back to that during my runs, during my pull-up sessions, and then during the gym because I was always the smallest. I think it goes back to that. It's like, well, I'm going to show you exactly what I can do. Mm-hmm. And you're just going to sit back and watch. There is a level of that because like when you're growing up, there's things that you just don't forget as a kid and like how people made you feel. And you never want to feel that way. You don't want to feel inferior. Mm-hmm. So then now it's like every single thing that I do, I want to be so good at it just to like prove people wrong. And it's not even like an exact person or an exact moment. It's just like, I think I felt this way before, and I know that I never want to feel that way again. It could be like a Jordan thing, and I'm not like Jordan at all, and I don't want to come off as that, but you make up little scenarios in your head. It's like, oh, he said this to me on the court, and now I'm going to go out and dominate him. Yeah. It just kind of gives you an edge, and then so I think just me being smaller and weaker than everyone else, I was just like, well, then I'm going to be so much better than you now, and I'm going to prove you wrong. But I don't know if that was ever even real. Yeah. You just come up with stuff. Whatever can give you an edge. Because, you know, when you're running by yourself, we talked about this just the other day, but it's really hard to get yourself motivated to run fast. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't do it. But almost every single run for me, when I'm coming back through my neighborhood, I'm just sprinting as hard as I can. Because I know that all these, I get these scenarios in my head, and I'm like, well, I'm going to like, this is the end of a race. I'm going to push as hard as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to win it. And then so I get excited during these runs to actually go and do that. And I know that like this effort that I'm putting forth right now during this end of my run is going to translate to a race. And then maybe it's a moment to where I'm racing against someone competing and then I beat them. And it's like, well, I told you, like that's what I do in my training. That's what I do on race day. And I don't know. It kind of gives me an edge. Always just feeling inferior. So that translates to my work ethic. And that's why I just work as hard as I do.
So do you visualize, like if you have a race coming up, do you visualize yourself in that race and like the time, looking at your watch or coming across the finish line? Yep. And so you just did New York. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, you were visualizing running through New York, even though you'd never had, or
so New York in particular, I've done, and I've gotten heat for this. I've done a lot of downhill races this year, marathons, and that's just the nature of living in Utah.
You got heat? You got to get criticized on social media? That's weird.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, stupid
of all people. But yeah, so I did the first marathon of the year. I just decided like that was my goal of 2024 was to start running marathons again because I go on and off with running, but now I think I'm going to stay. Probably your fault for that because you made us run growing up as a punishment.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, well,
No, there's an opportunity.
and I told myself,
growth.
once I get the chance to actually lead my own life, I'm never going to run again. Mm-hmm. So then it worked for a few years, and then I went back to it, then took it off, then went back to it. But anyway, first marathon of the year was Salt Lake Marathon, 3:12. Marathon the next month, did 3:02 at Ogden. Mm-hmm. This is all above, it's like, Ogden started at like 7,000 feet elevation. So it's hard like that on your chest and for breathing, but then you're going downhill.
Thin air.
It makes a huge difference.
Less oxygen, yeah.
Yeah. Did 3:02, and then my next marathon after the 3:02 was in Washington, Tunnel Vision. And then I did 2:49. And then people thought that I was taking the easy way out, saying downhill marathons give you 10 to 15 minutes of free time. Which just isn't true.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you can go fast on them, but it's still a marathon. I don't really know how to describe it because New York, I just ran earlier this month, did 250. Mm-hmm. And then so my whole point of that was like I ran all these downhill marathons, net downhill. And then so I thought of the people leading up to New York that would say, oh, New York was the only net uphill race that you did, and you didn't even break 3 hours. I told you so.
No, if you wouldn't have done good, yeah.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have done good.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I have my eyes set on New York, and I'm going to show you exactly what I can do and how wrong you are. And then so I went, and I ran 2:50.09, and that's like an average of like 6:29 a mile. And then just like a little less than a minute behind my all-time PR at the net downhill course. And it felt easier, and I was able to like walk and work out the next day. Whereas the downhill one that I did, Tunnel Vision in Washington, couldn't walk the next day. I was just like so sore, so banged up because the downhill marathons do that.
Yeah, definitely. Changes a lot running downhill as far as impact on your quads, on your knees. Your gait is a little different. I mean, you're not training running downhill, so you're training on flat.
Well, it's hard to train for downhill anyway, because how many stretches that go for like 10 miles downhill?
Right. So it's and then also going into New York. So you had these people you wanted to prove wrong, but then also I remember talking to you the night before. It wasn't an ideal prep the day before the race because you had to do like a photo shoot or some promo stuff for the Perfect Gene, right? Or jeans or whatever it is that your jean sponsor.
Yeah, the Perfect Gene.
And you ran 7 miles like doing video and photos. So you're on your feet for hours the day before a big marathon. And so we kind of talked on the phone. We're like, well, even if you broke 3, that'd still be a win.
Huge win, yeah.
Yeah, kind of thinking with your legs having that much activity the day before, it's not ideal for running a PR or like 250 is fast for, unless you're, some elite athlete or runner.
Yeah.
For us, that's fast. Mm-hmm. And so it's pretty impressive for you to do that. And then I know we talked about this too. Once you did finish and had that great time and an awesome effort, didn't you want to shout out those doubters?
Yeah. I know. I had the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. It's tough for me because as soon as you start calling people out, you look very ugly on social media.
Yeah,
it never looks good.
No, it's not a good look. But you want to because you're like, oh, fucking, where are you now?
Well,
anybody could do this, right?
Well, they didn't have a problem calling me out and saying that I was disingenuous for saying that I got these times, even though it's a downhill marathon.
And it's a sanctioned race, and it's a real course, and it's a Boston qualifier.
Yep.
I mean, so people, they'll nitpick. I mean, here's the problem. You have a lot of things people can look at and feel emotional about. I mean, because from the outside in, being objective, young, in great shape, good looking, sponsors, a lot of people have a job they don't love. They might not be in the greatest shape. They might not have the attributes. So they might look at you and be like, I fucking hate this guy. This guy he makes me feel like shit about myself. They won't say he makes me feel like shit about myself, but that's how they feel.
Yeah.
So that kind of translates into negative comments, or it's just human nature.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I think it's good. I think it's good. You did it perfectly as far as using it for fuel, but not lashing out afterwards, after you've been successful, because they obviously already feel like shit. That's why they're leaving negative comments.
Yeah. It's like, it's being called like a sore winner.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to like rub it in their face. It's like,
But I do.
we,
But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
the proof, and like the results are what matters the most. And then it speaks for themselves. You don't have to say anything at that point. It's like, okay, well, you said I couldn't. Well, I did 250 in jeans on a net uphill course with, I think New York Marathon's the biggest marathon in the world. So it's like you have to navigate running through all these people too.
Yeah.
That doesn't really help your time.
That's tough. Yeah. You have to be there hours early. Also.
Yeah, take the ferry.
Day of the race.
On your feet, get into where you need to go. Yeah. So, and then, the day before did that photo shoot sprinting, in jeans for these photos, which turned out pretty good. But I guess 250 as well, I should say, in jeans. So, I mean, like, I think though, we talked about this, gives you an it.
You fuckers hear that? Just keep track. In jeans, 250. Just make note of it.
Yeah, and actually, I have their names, their usernames written down. No, I'm just kidding. What was I saying?
You're saying how stupid they were? No, you're saying, I mean, you just had a good performance with, you had some things you had to overcome and still did good.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah, so, I mean, that speaks for itself. But
yeah,
what I will say, too, is, like, quitting my full-time job, that was, in August now. So I've been doing this for 3 months of like just full-time training. And I think it's important to say that like, I don't think what I do is like so important. And that's why I do it. Like people's jobs, we need, like if the lights go off, me running miles isn't going to help that.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that do more important things than me.
Right.
But for me and the goals that I had and what actually makes me feel like I just like feel alive, I guess. It wasn't what I was doing at my job. And then it's sometimes hard, and I know that people do this, but to live mediocrely, doing something that you're not passionate about and doing that every day when you're trying to chase this greatness, like you said. It's like, because I want to set the world record for pull-ups again. And in order to do that, it takes an extraordinary amount of time and effort. And then I'm chasing after all these things. So like, and I had this opportunity to take a full-time job to where I could do everything that I love all the time. And I know that I'm blessed because of it, but it would have been silly for me to try to balance the two and then not perform well in either one of those.
Yeah.
So
I just half-assed a bunch of things.
Right. So I just want, people to understand that like, not everyone can do this and not everyone should do this. It's like, unless you feel like this is something that you truly want to do and make a living that way, then I think you should do it. But what you do is important.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're called to do it, for sure. I mean, I think no matter what people feel called to do, I think, we get in situations where we have families to support or, people who rely on us. And so we can't maybe just quit a full-time job because there's other people relying on you.
Yep.
So you can't just say, well, no matter who you are, whatever your passion is, you should chase it, because it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
But if you can, I mean, people could say, well, must be nice that you're able to do that. We've heard that for years for different reasons. But, I've heard the same criticism about Goggins in that people say, well, he's a SEAL, but he trained all the time, which, wasn't true. He obviously was deployed and he was in the military for many years. But if people, they see something, they see somebody getting attention, they want to try to discount it if they can. And so they would criticize him. They still do. And he has a big chip on his shoulder, but that motivates him as well. So you do I'm not saying a better job, because whatever Dave has done, whatever works for him, who am I to critique it? But he will call those people out. I think he likes it, but that gives him fuel, and hopefully it kind of wakes up some of those people who are talking shit, and hopefully at some point they look at themselves in the mirror and be like, God, why the fuck am I like this? But David calls him out. You didn't on this, but I understand once you've been criticized for years or decades, essentially for some people, it fucking gets old.
Yeah, it does.
No matter, you can say all you want about, well, it's because they're miserable. It's not really about me. It still gets old.
Well, I mean, and you think about someone like him, and he's still criticized after all that he's accomplished. I mean, how many people has he helped? No one helped him. Mm-hmm. Navy SEAL for what, like 20 years?
They're 17 or something. Or
17.
Yeah.
You would think that right there, you're good enough. You serve the country. Still not good enough. Apparently.
No.
Second at Moab has like top 5.
I think has he got not 8 world records, but a few world records?
At least the pull-ups one time when no one was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He went for it, got it on his 3rd time. So broke that. He's made a lot of himself, and then like the book, huge success. So if people will discredit what he's done, then you're fair game, whoever you are.
They'll discredit anybody.
Yeah. So you're never going to make everyone happy.
But yeah, I do want to backtrack where you said when he set the world record when nobody was doing it. But that just, what you're saying was not that he didn't have competition, but he was his own competition.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Well, he made it a trend, basically.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say.
Yeah. He put it on the map. This pull-up thing.
Yeah.
And so now people, even how you started, they're still talking about, okay, I'm going to go and try to beat Goggins 4,032.
Yeah.
They still talk about that.
Well, even so, a kid just broke it. He did 9,200. And people are like still tagging Goggins in the comments. They're like, you're going to let this slide? Like, this is your record. And so, I mean, they think that he's just a larger than life figure, and that, I mean, age is a real thing. So like they want him to just keep going for it because, I mean, he probably could do it.
Yeah.
But, as I know, because I did it last year, it gets old after a while going for the same thing over and over. And then the number that it's at now, it takes so much time to build up that endurance for it. And so much can go wrong too. It's like, geez, you have a tweaked forearm for a couple of weeks, and then you can't do anything. You can't do pull-ups.
And, to his credit, he's still out there crushing it. And still, he will, like I said, call people out. He will train with people just to crush them.
Yeah.
So he's still got that. I don't think that dog ever is gone once you got it.
No.
I mean, he's never going to change. But I mean, for you specifically, and legions of other young men out there, he's been like this beacon, like chasing Goggins. And I think that's, if I think back on it, that's where your, I don't know, I can't remember what your goals were at this time, but it didn't seem like, or in 2018 or 17, whenever he came out here and did that first lift run shoot with me, but it didn't seem like you were, quote, chasing greatness, as I referred to at the beginning of the podcast. It seemed like spending that day with him when we did the ultra marathon, we trained together. It seemed like that day seemed like it changed you. Was it before that or was it then?
I would say that, it is 2018 because we ran the 50K, and then we went and lifted, and then Goggins, after all that, was doing his daily 100 pull-ups, and then that's when I started to do it as well. But I would say that there was levels to it, and I knew that I wasn't at the level that Goggins was at, because he crushed me in the 50K, and then obviously he had that really good workout with like, who's going to carry the boats and the logs, and then he did 1,000,000 reps.
Yeah.
Just seeing that, it was kind of profound, because at that moment he was like a superhero, and then he came to our small hometown, and then so I just remember like taking pictures of him and being like, wow, he's really here in the flesh, like kind of like a superhero. And then I was like, and people can really do this for a full-time job, just like do these amazing things, amazing accomplishments, and just get better and better, and then see how far you can take it. So, I mean, it did kind of get into my mind, but I had always just hated social media. So I was like, well, maybe I'll find another way. And then now, 6 years later, I'm like, throw in the towel. I guess I'm going to do this as well.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think, the world is changing in that sense to where you can make a living doing anything. And for me, it's not for everyone. But I love to see how good I can get at something. And that thing right now is the pull-ups and running marathons and ultras. I'm doing that. We haven't talked about it, or you briefly talked about it, but the 50K next month. Hopefully I could win it. But after my performance on Mount Pisgah with you, I'm thinking maybe you could win it.
No.
Maybe I can get second.
No. My foot's good for about 10 miles.
Yeah.
I saw people like, or this guy talking about my gait. My gait was fucked up, I guess, on that.
From that video today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I saw you say, you're like, yeah, my broken foot, doesn't help that. And it's like, that's true.
Yeah.
You just forget about it because you've had it for so long.
I know, 5 months, but I think it does, even though I try to, once you start changing your gait, that changes a lot of things in your body. I mean, like my calf today.
Yeah.
It's probably because of that. So I can get through like up to 10 miles and kind of fight through it and still stay like, I mean, you have to stay so even and balanced, and you can't be favoring anything because in your body, something else is going to get fucked up. But yeah, so
Well, good thing a 50K is not more than 10 miles, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying is I don't think I'm going to be in the mix, but I hope you win it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know what time. I mean, Taylor, if he's running it, I just don't know what the competition's going to be like. But
Yeah, you never know here in
hopefully,
this town.
yeah, hopefully I'm in good enough shape to at least beat James.
James is going to dominate the non-binary division.
Well, you're going to have to cut that part.
No, that's fine. Why?
Oh,
That's fine.
no, I thought.
We're celebrating
Okay,
that.
we're good.
No, we're good with it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, him and Eric Umenhofer.
You mean the greatest real estate agent ever?
I did not know.
Would he appreciate this plug right now? I don't think so.
Well, Joe Rogan said he's number one,
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
and I think Trump did too.
Well, no, I think Joe mentioned it a couple times.
Did he?
With Trump.
Oh, on that podcast?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
said
so
a student of yours.
right.
Yeah. No, but what I will say is James signing up for that 50K, it's kind of proof of just the way that you are. I think it rubs off on people. And obviously, like Tanner and I have done hard things like physically, but just him, I don't think if he was working for doing whatever the heck people with his skills do, would sign up for a 50K or bench 225. Somehow he was able to do that.
James, would you like to weigh in on any of this?
Yeah, you're definitely rubbing off on me.
Black Rifle Coffee is celebrating a decade of coffee in 2024. They're the only coffee I drink, and supporting them is supporting veterans and the outdoor community. One of my favorite packages that I get on a monthly basis is a Black Rifle Coffee Club exclusive coffee roast. The only way you can get it is if you subscribe to the coffee club. The exclusive coffee club subscription gives you nothing but the best. It's a coffee of the month club where you get premium roasts from the best farms worldwide. Black Rifle Coffee is America's coffee. It's veteran owned and operated. They support hunting and conservation and give back immensely to the veteran community. They're offering followers of the podcast 20% off on your first purchase to the coffee club or order on their site using code KEEPHAMMERING to get America's coffee today. Mountain Ops has been my go-to supplements for the past 7 years. My exclusive Keep Hammering line of products offers a blended protein powder, BCAAs, and a pre-workout that I take every day. Mountain Ops provides quality nutrition and gear to help you conquer through your passions. Their brand is all about faith, family, and hunt, and they truly focus on improving the lives of thousands. Plus, I love that they're a brand designed by hunters for hunters. So head over to mountainops.com and use code CAM to save on my Keep Hammering Signature Series or anything else I offer to help you train inside and conquer outside. I don't know. That was a pretty epic day when Goggins was out here. That was your first ultra.
Yeah.
And what time? What did you get? 6 hours?
Well, no, 5:56.
Oh,
So
5:50.
I just broke the 6 hour mark. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but that was a special day. People, yeah, that video has been crazy.
Yeah.
But a lot's changed since then.
I mean, was that like your first big time production of Lift Run Shoot too?
Yeah, and I didn't even. I mean, it was just a thing for me.
Yeah.
But I just had Travis Thompson from Elevation film it, put that. I think in like a day, turned around that film.
No, I've seen that clip everywhere now.
Yeah,
And
so-
that audio, people use that audio of Eric.
I know.
And Goggins going,
What was he saying? He's like, oh shit, now I can't remember. I don't know. I just remember him counting 16, 17.
yeah, and then who's going to carry the boats and logs? Yeah.
Yeah, nobody, something about it's David's
Oh,
house.
you are, David. You are.
Yeah.
He's like, who's going to carry the boat? He's like answering him in the moment.
But yeah, that was such an epic moment.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be hard to replicate that. We've been trying though.
Well, what I will say though is I went on a run last night, just by myself, made it to Yolanda, my old elementary school, and then ran a lap at Briggs, which is just across the street, the middle school. And that's where in elementary school, you would go and run the mile. Mm-hmm. And it would be a big day. All the kids would get nervous and it's like, oh man, we got to run a mile. This is so hard. And then Tanner, a few years, well, he's 3.5 years older than me. I think 4 grades above me. He set the school record. I think he got 6:38. And then Eric Umenhofer that we just mentioned, he broke it the very next year. And then it was the record for a couple years, and then I broke it at 6:28. Mm-hmm. But with that, we would run not even that much with you, like as a form of punishment or whatever it was. Go and run Pisgah. And we hated it every single time.
That was family time.
Bonding.
Yeah.
But even with that, no like set plan or anything, we were both able to set the school record for the mile. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting for kids. It's like just a little bit of effort. You're so much better than everyone else because kids don't even think about it. Like they're not really even trying to be great at anything. But I just think for parents, it's like if you actually have a plan for your kid, it's amazing what they can accomplish. Like there's a kid for Salty Britches. They make like the anti-chafing ointment. They have like this kid that they post about that just ran I think he did a 20-minute 10K or a 5K. Mm-hmm. So like 6-minute miles, and he's I think 9 years old.
Whoa.
So it's like he's the only kid doing that, and I'm sure he's going to break a bunch of records, but it's like all it takes is just like giving a kid a little bit of purpose, and it's like you want to get better at this, and then let's do this. And then like having, even like if you ran like 3 times a week, you'd be so much better than the other kids.
You know what the key to that is?
Discipline?
Not having a mom. Because moms make you weak. Because you remember, you would have been an ultra marathoner at 13. Except she I can't remember how it went, but she said,
well, no, this is exactly how it went. So I ran the marathon in 2010. I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
Tiny.
Yeah. 3:30.
3:30. So 8:07s, I think it was.
Yeah.
And by the way, for the parents, I was the cool kid at my middle school. And it was like, because you either got a short sleeve shirt for the half marathon or a long sleeve for the full marathon.
Okay.
I showed up, of course, in my full marathon shirt. And then this one girl was like, oh, did they run out of half marathon shirts to give you? And
You're like, no, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, bitch, excuse me. No. But I was like, no, I ran the full thing. She was like, you're kidding, right? And I was like, no, I ran the full thing. And so it was a big deal. And then I was, I'm sure kids didn't think I was cool, but I thought that they thought I was cool.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. But anyway, so then I think a couple weeks later, you told me, you're like, so I'm going to do this 50K. It's just a little bit further than the marathon. You're already in shape for it. And I think you said like Sarah Palin has run a marathon, but she's never done a 50K. So
Did I? Maybe.
Yeah.
I
So
think
like,
she has, yeah.
So what you're trying to say is that like these moms are out doing marathons, but if you want to be in an elite category, you should do this 50K. Then I was
Right.
like, if my dad thinks it's a good idea, obviously it's a good idea.
Right. I
And
only
then-
have good ideas.
At this time, I think at 13, I'm probably 60 pounds and 3 feet tall. No, I'm like maybe around 5 feet. And then we tell, or somehow it's leaked and mom finds out about it. I think Fox News got a hold of it.
Yeah. Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. When he's not talking about frogs turning gay, he's talking about me.
Aliens. and animals breeding hybrids. Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably true. The world's a weird place. But anyway, she tells us, and I don't know where she's getting this information from, that it stunts your growth. And
You don't need that.
I really didn't need that at that time. I was like, I think I already have it, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, it can't get worse.
Can't get worse than this, but I was like, I would eventually like to be a little bit taller, I guess. So then that was in the back of my mind. But anyway, I went forward with it, and I think I told you the night before. No, I didn't even tell you. You were going to go and run the 50K. I set my phone alarm, because I think I had just recently got a phone, for I think like 5 or 6 a.m. whenever you were getting ready to leave. I thought it was 5 a.m. I pressed it, good to go, gonna wake up in the morning. I end up waking up at like 8 or 9, and then my alarm was set for like 5 p.m. And I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I missed out on the opportunity to actually be something.
I know you would have been one of the youngest at that time to do an ultra. I know you could have, because you were in good shape.
Yeah.
To be able to do a 3:30 marathon.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great time especially for how small I was.
Yeah. And you'd done a couple, like that scramble you did was pretty hard up there at Mount Hood.
Yeah.
I mean, it was shorter, but pretty rough footing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I just didn't want to deal with all the drama. So yeah, with no mom, you would have been an ultra marathoner when you were 13.
Yep. And I would be probably 2.7.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, folks. Or no, I'm serious.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, just serious. No, moms, we love moms. They're important. Yeah, I mean, because how would we have dinner? I used to cook dinner for you guys. Chili and waffles.
Cook is, that's a bit of a stretch of a term.
Yeah, because for a while there, Trace was working in the evenings, and so I was in charge of babysitting.
Yeah.
And there's like some people say, you can't babysit your own kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was in charge of babysitting, which meant that you were screwing up me getting in my miles. So that means we had to eat fast. So Eggo waffles it was, or chili, and then we had to go run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the plan.
Good childhood. But no, you would be absolutely screwed if it wasn't for mom, if you actually think about it. For food, this is
for food, yeah.
When everything around the house and things that you don't want to do. But if you think about it, whenever she's not available, what is it? What do you refer to for eating? It is cereal with water. Try eating that for every meal.
I'm good, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, mom is clutch. My wife, Alicia, is phenomenal in that aspect as well. Super supportive, super tough, and then makes absolutely baller meals. I mean, we only go through like 5 meals a week because we eat the same thing every single day. Because usually if you want to be healthy, it's not like brand new something, and then like I got this dessert to follow. It's just like, I mean, you killed an elk earlier this year in Utah, and then we get half that elk, split it with Ed. And then so we eat a bunch of ground elk tacos, and then backstrap, and then we get half a cow as well. So we're eating like wild meat every single week. But yeah, just
Cows aren't wild.
I guess that's true. Good quality meat every single.
Gotcha.
Yeah, every single meal. But
Good protein, yeah.
Yeah, good protein, and it makes a huge freaking difference.
For performance, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't even imagine if. Well, actually, I can't imagine because when I didn't have Alicia, I would go to Target and get chicken nuggets. And then, that's what I thought. It's a decent amount of protein.
Yeah.
Decent macros. And then I would eat that for every
That was before the seed oils.
every dinner.
Remember seed oils? Now they're like in everything. And that's not good. So it was before anybody talked about seed oils.
Yeah.
In RFK we trust. But Trace has been whatever. I mean, takes care of everything. I always have taken care of all the food. Super thankful for that. Yeah, it'd be really hard for me to be focused on what I do without support, just like you and Alicia. So, that's a big part of it for sure.
Yeah, nutrition and then training. Training's hard. You know, like if you actually want to be good, it all comes down to training. Because we talked about this, but like it can be hard to get yourself to go fast during training runs. And a lot of people are talking about zone 2 and how important it is.
Yeah.
And it is important, but almost never are my my runs, whenever I go out for a run and I lace up and then I go out in the morning, are they easy ever? Like I always make it a little bit uncomfortable.
Push.
Yeah, because how else? It's like if you want to get a big chest and then you stop right before it gets hard every single time.
Yeah.
Or you only ever do a set of 8.
Yeah. It's right. You know, I think a lot of people refer back to there's an adage that Olympians train at conversation pace 80% of the time. So that people use that as an excuse, like, see, you don't need to run hard all the time. And it's like, what I would say is, yeah, you're right, but don't forget the 20% where they're busting their balls. Are you getting that in, or are you still just everything's at 80%? And it's like all conversation pace. But yeah, you still have to push out of that comfort zone. That's how you grow.
But wait a minute, their conversation pace is 6-minute miles, or 6-minute miles still.
Yeah.
So to get to that point, do you think they only ever did 80-20 to get to that point?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, if I had to guess.
Probably not.
No, there's something to be said. Here's what people, I think people want to skip over or don't want to acknowledge, or I don't know if it's intentional, but it's daily discipline. I mean, because you got people in your ear all the time saying, I think you need some more rest. I think do you need to run today? I think your body needs a break. And you can convince yourself you do. And maybe sometimes you do, but for the most part, if you got to put in work every fucking day.
Yeah.
If you want to be like this chasing greatness, setting world records, being something people like aspire to, that doesn't happen by, I'm feeling a little bit dinged up, maybe I'm going to take today off. That happens by pushing through every fucking day.
It does.
And some days, maybe you won't be doing that sprint. Maybe you won't be pushing that limit. And maybe it just, on some days, it is just grinding it out. But it's slow, and it's, you just don't, your body, it just isn't there for pushing, because it could be injury. That's where you know your body well enough to be like, yeah, today's not a PR type day, but it's like, I just got to punch that time clock. But the point is, it's every day, do something. I mean, do you ever take a day off?
No. Well, I mean, since I do this is my job, I don't feel like I deserve a day off.
Yeah.
Like, that would feel so weird. Mm-hmm. My day off usually, if it's, because every single day I'll do usually like an hour run at least, hour at the gym, and then around like 3 hours of pull-ups. So is that like 5 hours working out? So then an easy day would be, and it doesn't happen often, but not doing one of those. So then I'm always doing something.
So are there days where there's no pull-ups, so there might be just 2 hours a day of workout?
Yeah. Yeah. Then like that would be considered my easy day for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it too, that it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of working out. But 5 hours, that's 19 hours where you're not working out. I mean, that's still a lot of time. So even if you slept for 9 hours, you got 10 hours of just chilling.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I think people, and you look at your screen time on your phone, and people are like spending hours on their phone. I mean, could you take an hour or two out of those hours you're on your phone and maybe do something?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be chasing world records, but just, man, how much better do you feel when you get that work in every day, work up a little sweat?
You feel a lot better. And then I guess what we should say too, though, is that it does depend on your goals. Because, I mean, for me, that's the only thing that matters is improving and getting better. But if you just are kind of like dabbling in it, your most important thing is your job, because that's what pays the bills. And then you don't really care that much how you perform, because it's not the main thing. But I guess if you do want to get faster, then you're going to have to work for it.
So what do you tell people who have just like this job they're not really passionate about and don't really have a thing they're passionate about?
Oh, I have no advice.
Because everybody wants that passion.
I have no answers.
Because I hear people
I got
say all the
lucky.
time, I wish, like for me, it was bow hunting. And like, God, I wish I had something. Yeah. So how did, I mean, yeah, I don't know. How did it, and I've told you this before, the path you've chosen is a hard one. It means no days off. And yeah, people say, oh, it's just working out. It's hard to do every day, so it's if you're saying like, okay, I got to do how many 500 pull-ups a day. That's hard. So if that's the standard, that's setting yourself up for a hard path. And you're like, you got to break world records, or you got to run a super fast marathon in jeans. That's you've chosen a very hard path. So there's a lot of jobs that could, you have a degree, smart kid, you could make good money, but it just wouldn't be fulfilling, I guess. But the path you have is hard. How does that, do you ever think about like, God, why am I doing this? Is it just do you love it?
I would say that I love it because it is, I don't know, a lot of the times in your career, if you're, for a lot of jobs, you don't really have like an end goal. It's just kind of like, pay the bills. And then, but for this, there's set events coming up. And then it's like either you get your goal or you don't. Either you get the record or you don't. And then so I'm able just to see it, and then I'm competing against myself, and then I only have myself to blame. A lot of the times when you're working with a team, it's like you can divert the blame to someplace else. But for me, it's like it all falls on my shoulders. And then so that's why I'm able to put in so much effort, just because I care so much, because it's me. It's all me at the end of the day. And then so I've always just kind of been drawn to that. And like I said, I just like to get better and better every single day. And that's kind of hard to quantify when you're at a job. I don't know how you can, like the job that I used to have, I was on a marketing team, and I don't know how you can go and be like, did I get better today?
Yeah.
Because a lot of days just kind of feel like a waste. You kind of like go through the motions.
What you're doing, there's measurables in what you like measurables, it seems like.
Yeah.
Numbers to associate with success or failure. And then also you like, what I've noticed is you like putting them out there. So you make them public for accountability, because you say that you're going to break 250, or you're going to do this or that. And when you put yourself out there like that, you're going to you're putting yourself out there to be judged, because people are like, oh yeah, big talker, I thought you were going to do this, but it looks like, or it sounds like that motivates you, or it looks like that motivates you. So is that a part of your formula too? Is you put your goals out there and just so everybody knows it?
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of differing opinions on this. I think Ryan Holiday has mentioned that you should never say your goals out loud, because then it's like you accomplish them in a sense, because then people already congratulate you.
Yeah, I think he talked about if you say you're going to write a book, people will say, or I've heard this example before, people say, oh, you're writing a book, that's amazing. And you get that dopamine hit like you wrote a book.
Yeah.
So you get that little thing, you didn't do anything. You just said you were going to do it. But then that like gave you something, and then maybe you're not going to write a book now, but you still got the dopamine hit, but you never actually achieved your goal. So I get to that point, but
I've never had that issue.
Well, it seems like that's just, if you're disciplined, you're not going to use that as a sign of success that you just said it. You haven't done shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's some people. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. But usually it's like, if you're serious about a goal and you're going to give your absolute all, then you say it out loud. It's like if you want to get sober, you tell someone instead of just, you let yourself down all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal. But then if you say to someone, you're at a party, you're like, yeah, I want to be sober, and I'm going to be sober from this day forward. And then they see you cracking open a beer just like moments later, you feel shame.
Yeah.
Because you just made it public. And then now that person will be like, hey, what the hell? I thought you were going to do this.
Yeah.
Whereas if you didn't tell anyone, it wouldn't be a big deal. So for me, I like to put it out there, and it's like, everyone can hold me accountable. That's fine. I'm going to hold myself accountable, of course. But I think it's just fun because it shows that you're serious.
Who, yeah, that's a good point. Who pushes you and inspires you?
I would say my wife, because she took a chance on me. She loves me, decided to marry me. And then with that comes a huge responsibility. It's like, I need to take care of her. And then so I have all these things that I want to accomplish. And, you know, she's a big driving force for that, because it's like she could have picked a million different people, but she picked me, and I want to show her that she made the right decision. So for that goes a long way for me. For myself, obviously. Yeah, I just always, I don't want to let myself down. I want to see what I'm capable of. And then so that goes a long way, because I've just always been self-motivated. I've always had that, whether it's just in the gym, no matter what my goals are, I've always just pushed myself hard and hard and hard until I got it. And then I would say just my family, like you guys. It feels good to have your family love you the most and be the most proud of you, because they know you the best. And then so if they can actually be proud of you and the things that you do, then I think you're a winner at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, as far as you and Alicia, you guys are like a team. Do you look at it like going after these goals?
Oh, yeah.
Because she helps you prepare and perform and train, and then you can perform?
Yep. Yep. Lets me go and do all these things, all these races to get better. Understands that, like, I got to go and run a marathon today just for training, and then the next day I got to do 10 miles, because, like, that's the formula. If you want to get stronger, you got to train on tired legs.
Yeah.
And then I'll come back from the run, and then she'll have dinner waiting for me. And then so the last thing you want to do when you're tired and exhausted is go and cook this great meal that's going to benefit you in that sense, because it takes a long time to prep and cook.
Yeah. Yeah. And just something else to think about.
Yeah, something else to think about, and something else that takes away from your energy. So absolutely a team. Or like if I tell her I got to do 12 hours of pull-ups tomorrow, you know, there's no like big size or anything. It's just like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, because you don't want to show your ass on when you go for the record again. So like, this is just like, you understand that this is part of the recipe. So if you have someone that supports you and is like a partner in it, then you can accomplish some amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, what you're doing now is incredible, and it does deserve a lot of respect. I'm just curious when that, I keep trying to go back to when it changed, because I remember in cross country and like running, I thought you could be great, but you didn't have this mindset at that time. Was it just maturing, or is it just sharing it with somebody, or is it just like being more focused on like achieving greatness or a goal? Because I think you could have been great, but you weren't as dedicated as you are now. So
Yeah.
what changed for you?
I think it's kind of like that Goggins quote where he talks about it's so easy to stand out these days because everyone's so weak. And I want to be like as aggressive as that probably, but it is what a big factor for me is that I'd go to the gym and I'd do like a set of 25 pull-ups in a row. And people would just be like shocked. They'd be like, how is that possible? Like old men at the gym would come up and be like, how are you able to do that? And then just like, it kind of like caught people's eye. Then I was like, oh, is this hard for people? And then that kind of translated to like going out and running a marathon with like no training. And then people were like, that's so amazing. Like I have to train so long to be able to run a marathon. And like the fact that you're able to do that just like that is incredible. Then I was like, oh my gosh, like I guess I have a natural ability to accomplish these hard things. And then so when you're good at something, you're drawn towards it. And then so ever since then, because then my first like extremely hard challenge was the breaking Goggins old world record. And then so I was able to do that. in 2020. And then again, it kind of reinforced the idea of like, well, if I'm able to break a world record on kind of minimal training, because I was just doing 100 or 200 a day at that time, then what could I do if I actually dedicated myself fully to this thing? And then so I guess that's what I'm working towards now. And I think I'm on the right path. I started earlier this year running. I did a 3:44 marathon, and now I'm down to a 2:49 of running consistently for almost a year.
Almost an hour off.
Almost an hour off, yeah.
That's impressive.
So I just have a natural ability, and then I have the right mindset, and I have a body that doesn't get injured that easily. Like people get injured, they talk about injuries. They're like, man, my back, my everything hurts. I don't feel that at all. I feel great every single day.
My foot.
My back, my foot, my neck, my back.
So you're durable.
I'm durable.
But I think a lot of that is like that training builds durability. But yeah, I mean, somehow to avoid the serious injury.
So durable. Had a childhood to where I already built up endurance. I did sports that required endurance. Haven't missed. I have like a necessity every single day to get better and train. Probably comes from you, to where like I don't miss days at the gym. Like people talk about like they've taken 2 weeks off. I've never done that in my entire life, and I've never even considered it. It would make me sick to even consider it. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Right. I don't know what I'd do.
I don't know what I would do. I'd feel disgusting is what I would feel, and disgusted with myself. But all that, I get a lot of sleep at night. We eat super healthily. Is healthily a word?
Sure. We'll go with it.
Healthy. I don't drink and I don't do any drugs or anything like that. So I just want to see how far I can take it, because I have everything going for me in that sense. So it's like, why not? And
I thought you did trend.
And I enjoy it. And I take trend all the time.
Yeah. God, people are crazy. That's like if you're in shape, you're automatically on steroids.
That's how it works.
But you have like, you get your stuff tested, your blood tested. What are you like? I thought, were you at 500? Yeah.
Yeah.
500 for your test, that's kind of low even for a male your age. Is that what they say?
Yeah. I think it was below optimal ranges just because I did run a marathon a couple.
Oh, that affects it.
Yeah. A couple days before or something. And so I think that does affect
It's
it.
probably a little higher.
Your body's damaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I got all those things going for me. So I don't know though, because once you get faster, it's tougher to shave off time.
Right. You're not going to gain another hour. We'll do a 149.
149, here I come.
Yeah.
Or else it's a failure. But yeah, so I guess we'll see. But I think Ken Rideout. He does like 228. He does a 228 marathon. And he started out doing 10 miles a day, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And then he just kept getting faster and faster.
Yeah.
But then he got a coach recently, and that's how he was able to shave off a few extra minutes for his marathon time.
Well, I mean, you glossed over a lot of stuff there. You're talking about being durable and not missing days and being whatever, childhood and all that. But I mean, it's not like it's been smooth sailing all the time, because you've tried to do really hard things that you came up short. You wanted to run 100 miles in your 24-hour race. You did 90. So it's like you did 100 miles, barely made the cut. So it's like, I don't want people to think that like once you decided you're going to do hard things, it's just been like easy to do these hard things.
Yeah, that's
true. I mean, you failed at pull-ups the one time, or we had to call it short. So I don't want people to think that, oh, it's just, God, he's had it so easy, he's never failed at anything. It's like, no, there's been some fucking rough days in there.
Yeah.
And painful ones that probably, I don't know how they affect you mentally, but it's just physically miserable.
Yeah, some heartache in there for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it hasn't been without struggle. Like that is important to notice. But yeah, like the pull-ups, I told myself that I would never feel that pain again. Right. So this reinforces your idea, because it was so miserable, so embarrassing that I came up that short when I did 4,000 and I needed to do 8,000. But then I just kind of went back to the idea of like, well, I can do 4,000 pull-ups in less than 24 hours. I'm already in the top 1% in this field for pull-ups. So how far can I take it if I actually trained hard? And so again, it just kind of went back to the idea of like, I'm not hurt, I'm not injured, and I enjoy doing this anyway. So why not see how far I can take it? And then obviously I was able 6 months later to break the record. So yeah, it's not without struggle, but anything worthwhile is going to have struggle with it.
Yeah. So you were never like fail and then like, I'm not doing this shit again. I mean, because that's what some people do. They fail at something, or they have this dream and it doesn't happen, and then they give up one time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that did happen. I should say, because I mean, the story was I called my wife and I was like, I'm done training for pull-ups. This is stupid. I'm going to start running marathons is what I said. But then it is interesting to think, even that slight decision, maybe I would have stuck with the marathons and would have been running. But maybe since I quit the pull-ups and never saw it through, maybe I'd quit the marathons because it got hard and then never saw that through. And then I'd just be a quitter for the rest of my life.
Maybe.
On everything. But again, it comes down to having a good partner, because she was like shocked. She was like, I don't know who this is, because normally I'm like the tough guy. I can do whatever physically. 100 miles with no training, sure, why not? Still hard, but I did it. So I thought I could do the pull-ups with no training too. That was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I just, I had to sit down with myself, and really look myself in the mirror. Literally, I remember looking myself in the mirror, like in my truck, and saying like, quit being a goddamn like pussy. And like, if you don't break the record, you are such a failure. I was just yelling at myself in my truck.
Did you yell back?
Yeah, no, he was really hurt. But
You hurt my feelings.
I don't know what it was. Sometimes you have like a mental break, but as long as you go back to what you actually want to accomplish and the goal, you're going towards the goal. You're spending time training. You're going to get better at it no matter what. As long as you're spending time and being disciplined, and obviously it's not going to be smooth sailing from there. But as long as you're dedicated, no matter what, you're going to stick with it through the ups and the downs. It's like marriage. Geez.
Yeah.
Sounds like marriage. You're not going to get divorced from it. You're not going to get divorced from the person, I guess, to bring it back to marriage, but you're going to see it through. And then that's what I did with the pull-ups. And then obviously I was able to do it, but yeah, just seeing it through and not quitting, quitting. I've said this before, like on Instagram, I think it was, as long as you don't quit on something, you are going to be in the top 10% probably.
Right.
If you stick with it. We know a lot of people that have like picked up running and then they quit, and then you're just a terrible runner, obviously, because you don't run. But if you ran consistently from the time that you were interested in the goal till now, if you just were running that whole time, you would be a sub-3 runner. Like that's just what it comes down to.
Right.
Just don't quit.
Right. Yeah. For years.
You
stick at it, because you've been training pretty well. I mean, you've been training your whole life, but hard now for quite a few years. But yeah, it's just time. I just don't think everybody wants, and it's not, I don't want to be cliche, but they want that overnight success and instant gratification, the dopamine hit. But yeah, I get all that, because we're all susceptible to that. But just that mindset of like, no, this is just what I do. And I'm just not going to falter. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. I'm just not going to quit. I might even fuck up on a goal or a race, but that's okay, because that's all part of it. And it's just how you respond to things like that is what separates the best from the rest. And so are there people that you follow out there that are doing cool things that kind of inspire you to keep chasing these big goals? I mean, obviously Goggins. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, Goggins for sure. I would say Ned Brockman's another good one.
Yeah.
Ned Brockman is another one that puts his goals out there and is not afraid to deal with the heat of that.
He got a lot of heat on that 1,000 miles in 10 days.
Yeah, which is, I think people didn't think he would take it seriously. Was
that record's been around so long. I think people thought that he hadn't done enough ultras to even throw his name in the hat for challenging a record a historic record like that.
Yeah.
I think they were thinking that he didn't even deserve to mention he's going to try to break it.
Yeah, because with that in today's world comes clout. Like people think that you're a clout chaser.
Yeah.
Well, I think he showed that he was serious about it.
Fucking beast, dude.
Yeah, because he ended up, he didn't get the record, but he finished it, the 1,000 miles.
Yeah, 12 days, 8 hours, I think, something like that. So, but his body was so beat up.
Yeah,
I
because
can't imagine the pain he was in.
no. I mean, to even do a single 100-mile day and then waking up the next day and just doing whatever the hell you want, it still hurts.
Yeah.
But then knowing that you have to do 100 miles the next day.
For 10 days.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were following that pretty close because obviously he's here, or he's been here. He's done the lift, run, shoot. And I was super impressed with how tough he was. I was like, holy shit, this kid is an animal. And so, yeah, he's been like on our radar.
Yeah.
And then he put that big goal out there. So we talked about it a lot. And then, to watch him and follow along on that. Yeah, I get that where he'd be. I mean, he inspires me too. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, he's a stud. I don't. Who else is crushing it out there? The hardest geezer.
yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while though.
I don't even follow him now that I think about it, but he ran,
ran around Africa.
ran around Africa.
Yeah, stud.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, just a lot of endurance athletes
Yeah,
more than anything. I think that's just, endurance is just so admirable because I've gotten a taste of it with some of the stuff that I do and that I'm interested in. And it's just no matter what, when it comes to doing something that is hard in endurance, you feel like quitting every single time. Mm-hmm. Or like you're pushed to the brink every single time. When you're thinking about like these 200-mile races, Ned going for is it the 10-day record?
Yeah.
For distance?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That or the pull-up record, every single person who does something like that is going to feel like quitting one way or another, and then not actually quitting and then going through with it still, no matter how much pain you're facing, is just very admirable, and I like to follow along.
I think you wanted to say admirable.
What the hell am I saying?
Admirable.
Is that not right?
Taryn, admirable, admirable.
Alicia? Admirable? I can't even say it. That's why I try not to. Admirable. Admirable.
Macy leaves these in. Leave this in.
Admirable.
No, admirable.
That's not right. I'm sticking to my guns. You guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay.
Hey, college degree,
No. Middle school degree.
middle school degree. James, I don't even have to ask. And then Taryn is in the middle of it.
She's math. She doesn't not gonna know words.
You don't need to know words from me.
No.
I guess Alicia is actually, dang it, Alicia.
Yeah.
Oh, and she reads a lot too. Yeah, that's right.
Reading is a fad. I don't think that's gonna stick around.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get 10,000 pull-ups in a day,
At least, yeah.
at least. When is this? Do we have a date?
You know what? It's hard to corral the troops for this one. Because I'm going head to head as of right now versus Kane Eckstein. He had the record in 2018, I think it was. He's broken it a couple times for the 24.
Sounds like a villain in a Batman movie.
Kane Eckstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's Australian.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Yeah, so head to head, 2 pull-up bars, going for 24 hours, made the best man win. Mm-hmm. As of right now, that's set for like March, early March.
Nice. Where?
Well, we haven't decided that. Maybe Utah, maybe LA, maybe here. Yeah, just, there's some details we need to figure out, but I got accepted for the application, and now I just need to pick a date and go for it. But that actually reminds me that I wanted to say, what is the limit that people can get pushed to? Because I know that we've talked about this before, but I personally don't think I've ever been pushed to the limit where I think that like I can't go any further. Maybe subconsciously you kind of get to a point like during a marathon, you run across the finish line, and just because someone told you that was the finish line, you're like, I'm done. But in reality, if it was 27 miles, you would have kept that same pace and kept going. So it's like, have you ever been close to your limit, you think, physically?
No.
Because even the Moab 240 race, you finished running like 6-minute miles, right?
No, that was Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's
and Moab,
205 miles.
Yeah, Moab, it was like, I don't know what it was. It was under 7, but I remember Taylor saying he might not be able to keep that pace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt good there, but Moab, I felt came in hot. You know, it's like, I think your mind tells you, like if you do a marathon, you're done at 26. You think about on the day that you're going to do a marathon, if somebody said, oh, actually we're going to do 100 miles today, you'd be like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you are mentally ready to do 26. When you do a 100-mile race, and then if somebody said, actually this is a Moab 240 now, it's not a 100-miler, you would like, I can't do that. But when you have the goal of like, I'm running 240 miles, yeah, you do it. So you set yourself up for whatever that is. But I've never got to the end of whatever and that's all I could do and just collapse and have to go to ER. You know what I mean? Very few people, Courtney, as we've talked about, can push herself like that. Very few people. I think it's like self-preservation. You know, you just won't let yourself push that hard.
What we even talked about the lactic acid.
Lactic acid, if you push, you know, like trying to sprint up Pisgah, yeah, your body's that lactic will build up, and then you're like, yeah, I can't, and then you can't push. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can push so hard you can die. I mean, obviously we're not going to get there, but there's a long way from what I've done to dying. Where is that?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I think Goggins maybe has said this, but like people usually, when they think they give 100%, it's actually 40%.
That's what he says, yeah.
And I don't even know if that's based on anything.
No, I don't know.
But I think the point is you're not even close to where you could be.
Yeah, just because I think he's seen enough and done enough where he knows how it works. He knows when people quit. You know, he's seen people quit. But yeah, it's that's so interesting. It's just like, I've always been interested in measuring willpower, like what makes somebody be able to push harder than other people when everybody's fatigued. How do you measure willpower? Who wants it more? Like what measurable is that? Because it's not like how much you can bench. It's not like how many pull-ups you can do. It's just like how much can you keep pushing when you want to quit? And it's just walking, or it might be just slow jogging, but why can one person do that so much better than the other person when they're both in shape?
All comes down to mental.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. It's like, so what is the limit?
I don't know, because we talked about like on Pisgah, yeah, like your body will shut down before you pass out. Like if you had a goal in mind, I want to sprint up Pisgah as hard as I can, your body's going to shut down before you die. But horses will push themselves to that limit and pass it.
They can die.
Yeah, they'll explode their heart.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it's just like biologically we can't, but some people are better at it than others.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating to think about.
Yeah. So I don't know what my limit is, but I think we're going to find out pretty soon with the pull-ups.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the plan is 10,000. It's at 9,200 as of right now. 9,250 I think is the actual number. And then so, I mean, even that though, because as of right now, I'm training. If you did 400 an hour, so 40 sets of 10, you get 400 down in the hour. You can rest for 20 minutes, because it's on the minute. Then I would get to 9,600 if I did that for 24 straight hours.
And like you've been doing, like was it on Thanksgiving you did 700 here? Or was that, or no, 500?
500, yeah.
How many did you do today?
500. And then the day before Thanksgiving, 700. The day before that, 300. And then the day before that, did 3,000.
Yeah. So, and you're not sore or anything?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So your body's definitely built for that. Yeah.
Yep. So building up the endurance there and callousing the mind is the biggest thing when it comes to the pull-ups, because you don't want to be standing in the same place for 10 hours and doing pull-ups. Nothing's fun about it. Not really rewarding, like going on a run and seeing new things and being like out in nature. But you have a goal in mind and you told yourself you're going to do it, so you're going to do it.
Do you ever think about like doing these incredible things? Do you ever think about how that impacts like other young men or society, or maybe a next generation to see that? Talk about how there was this man. You ever hear this one guy, Truett Hanes? He did 10,000. Do you ever think about that, like a legacy, or are you still just so immersed in your own goals?
I think I like Tyson's take on legacy and how, imagine like thinking how self-important you are to leave behind a legacy. Like people talk about you when you're dead. So, I mean, I think that's cool to think about it that way, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, actually, pull-ups and exercise and fitness doesn't really matter, but it's if it's for something. And then for me, like the whole reason why I wanted to quit my job and train for the pull-up record, I told myself that it needed to be for something that was outside of myself and something that was actually important. And then so like what Kane and I are going to be doing is head-to-head, yes. For the record, yes, one person's name will be on the record, and hopefully that's mine. But we are teaming up with the Miracle Foundation to raise $500,000 for it brings kids together with their families that are separated, like whatever that may be. It brings families together and helps kids who are like the most vulnerable. Because you think about a kid, they didn't ask for the life that they have. They just rely on their parents to take care of them. And then so these kids are vulnerable, and then so this will help them find a family that loves them and take care of them. And then so I was like, as long as I have that I'm working towards, and it's not just for myself and for my own selfish goals or like my own fame and celebrity, none of that actually matters. But if I can help them through just pushing myself physically, then it is for something. Then that keeps me going, that keeps me motivated. And then it's just, it's bigger than me. So at the end of the day, I am helping them, but it doesn't even matter that it's attached to my name. It's just that people are getting help. And if I can be a source of inspiration for some people in the fitness realm, that's great too, because it's like whatever keeps you alive and happy and motivated and disciplined, I'm thankful to contribute to that. You know, because like whatever people are interested in, that's what's keeping them from being depressed.
Right. Distracted a little bit.
Yeah, distracted a little bit just from like, you know, because
just a grind of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get some mind on something else.
Yeah, it can wear you down. So if people can see me working towards something, even if it's just exercise, because we are supposed to move our bodies, and it's so simple too, because you can just drop down, give me 50 push-ups, you'll feel better after it. You're working towards something, getting stronger. It's very positive. Everything's positive about working out and getting faster and running and pull-ups, chasing after goals. If I can help some people just to kind of flip that switch, then hopefully that would help their suffering a little too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, depression's a real thing, and you know, we've all struggled with it. So it's like when I get messages saying that like I've inspired someone, it does feel good. I don't think to myself like, man, I'm so important.
I'm a goddamn hero.
Yeah. Am I a hero? I really can't say, but yes.
Well, I think it's good that you say that too, because there will be a lot of young men listening, and you know, they might. For most of us, it's easy to get wrapped up in our own self and our own goals. But for you to say that you want to do it for a larger purpose of helping and making a difference, in you know, some kids' lives who maybe got a tough hand dealt. You know, Ned did the same thing. He raised millions of dollars. So I think it's really good to get just that mindset out there that, hey, let's do it to help others instead of just being the self-serving goal. It's, you know, at the beginning of the day, it starts self-serving because you have to be able to train and you have this goal that you're trying to achieve. But along with that, if you can do something positive for others, and that's a great message. And I think it's a good one that gets people to think, you know, and think about just, you know, look at things a little bit differently. I think that's important too. I did notice that people you know, when that one kid beat the record, I think they like somehow turn it into a negative on you, like, oh, you got beat by a gamer. What's that gamer's name?
Doug Sensor Martin. I don't know what sensor means, but Doug Martin.
Yeah, but he's one. Did he do a bunch of? I don't know if it's official or not, but he did like 9,000, right?
Yeah, he's the one who officially has a record.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, so they like turn it into a gamer beat you. It's like, well, this fucking gamer's a beast. I don't know. He did 9,000 pull-ups. I don't care what his job or what he does.
All it takes, and you don't have to be special. Anyone can do it. It's just hours and hours. He trained for over a year. I remember when he started, and I was like, this kid has zero chance.
Really?
But he stuck with it.
Yeah.
Over a year of training, almost every single day, a lot of setbacks. And then he actually stuck with it, and then he actually crushed it on record day. But like for me, if I go and do it, I'm just another person.
Yeah.
All that I did was put in the time and the effort. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes for anyone to accomplish anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Just stick with it. Yeah. I think people, they give up on themselves or life gets in the way sometimes. You know, there's things that happen in life that are tough to overcome, not impossible usually. But yeah, I think that persistence is the key for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think for him, he was a Call of Duty gamer, and then so he doesn't have like a regular job. So he's able to take a lot of time and train just like I am. Mm-hmm. It's like, so if I'm not able to do these things, then I'm basically a big fat loser. Because, I mean, what else would I be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I should be able to perform, or else, yeah, it's just a big waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's good. Well, first you have probably the biggest contest of the year, the Christmas Binge Contest.
The Christmas Binge Contest.
Yeah.
I think we've done this since 2020. Did 14 yesterday. You did 5. Do I need to say that again? Did the audio cut out at all? No, but so after that video, I mean, you haven't been benching at all, because you've been hunting, but you did 5. I think, I don't know what your goal is for that. You could for sure get double digits.
Okay.
And then Tanner, after seeing that video, though, he said that he's no longer worried for me to take the crown.
So I guess, the question is, can you do more than 14? Because apparently he thinks he can.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Well,
stay tuned.
That day,
Not doing anything else.
You did hundreds of pull-ups too, that same day.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. No, I don't know how much that affects your bench. Maybe a little.
Yeah, probably a little.
Probably a little, yeah. Yeah, and I've had a sore throat for a week.
Oh, man.
And a half.
Yeah.
Week and a half. But no, I mean, Tanner just has, he's always been strong. So I guess we'll see. But 14 I thought was good. Apparently it's not.
It's pretty good, but yeah, he's pretty strong for sure. Well, you have anything else? Any shout outs to your sponsors? Where can people find you?
My OnlyFans is no, actually James could probably tell you.
Big pull-up nuts.
No big shout outs.
Yeah.
Just I'm usually doing one of 3 things: running, lifting, pull-ups.
Yeah. Well, it was good. We had some good workouts here while you were here for Thanksgiving, so that was fun. Missed that.
Yep. Yeah, that was fun.
Imagine how good a shape you'd be in if you lived here.
That's true. Maybe that's why I don't want it. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Beat me all the time.
Yeah. Nah, it was good. All right, guys. Well, that's an update from the Just Truett fan club. So is your name, it's not Justin?
All 3 of my fan club members.
Are you ever going to change that to Truett Hanes?
No, I like the confusion.
Yeah.
Because people will send me things, Justin Truett. And then they're like, why don't you have the same last name as your dad? I'm like, well, I do, actually, because my name is Truett Hanes. But now I'm just going to leave it, whatever.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's the update from Truett. Stay tuned for the next world record, 10,000 pull-ups in 24 hours. You heard it here first.
And if I don't get it, I'm a loser.
I believe in you. Keep hammering.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They sent their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt, feeling like Cam Hanes. Oh.